We now focus on cybersecurity matters, and that's as South Africa remains open to such risks, ranking third in the world when it comes to exposure. And this matter comes under the spotlight now as the country marks Cybersecurity Month amid a spike in data breaches and ransomware attacks. Just recently, hackers hit the likes of Transunion and Shoprite, compromising details of millions of consumers and threatening to sell that information to the highest bidder. Managing Director at OAO Investments, Zamokuhle Aja-Okorie, speaks to us about these developments now. Thank you so much for your time, Zamokuhle. I think let's first unpack where South Africa stands when it comes to regulation, where security is concerned on the side of cyber attacks.
Good morning, Dumisang. Thanks for having me this morning. So concerning South Africa, as you said, we are third in the world. Cyber attacks actually cost South Africa 2.2 billion annually. And it's a growing phenomenon, but our government is doing their part. In December, the Cybersecurity Act came into effect in December. And I must commend the Chief Information Regulator because they're doing their part in ensuring that, citizens and corporations are protected.
That's encouraging to hear, and because this is such a global scale concern when it comes to the recent spike that we've seen in cyber crimes, it becomes important that South Africa aligns itself with global trends. Let's get into what those global trends are, as the issue of ransomware has become somewhat of an element that is new within the South African context and dynamics, as we saw with the Transunion matter recently.
Yes, so it's estimated that in the year 2025, cyber crimes are actually going to cost about 10.5 trillion. So globally, there is that camaraderie, hence the creation of Cyber Awareness Month called CAM, a campaign which started in the US, which has then been accepted as a practice around the world to protect themselves from cyber attacks. What we're finding is that people still have the idea that cyber attacks are taking place in a small room, but it's actually an industry. There's an industrialization of cybercrime where people are sitting in organizations, are setting targets. So this is why now globally there is this fight against cybercrime, because it has great ramifications on the economy, on organizations and individuals. So there's a lot of effort and emphasis being put into cybersecurity to ensure that organizations and people can recuperate.
On that note, let's also delve deeper into what CAM really seeks to achieve, especially on the side of awareness for individuals such as myself and you. We saw, again, I referenced TransUnion and that data hack. It affected ordinary South Africans.
Yeah, so CAM actually, its main aim is to spread awareness about the importance and urgency of cybersecurity. Its focus is on the importance of digital security for both business and individuals. As you said, phishing attacks, everyone in South Africa has been affected some way or the other by cybercrime. And because of that, we then find that globally and in South Africa, we are having to fight this because, I'm sure you sitting over there have received an email recently stating that that you need to log into your tax account, you need to log into your bank account. So there's a great war against cybercrime. They are active, they're out to get the masses, and we just need to educate ourselves. That's the number one message that I have to leave, is that we need to educate and be vigilant, constantly vigilant.
Absolutely. And as a parting shot, let's discuss ransomware. At times, companies don't even disclose if this was paid or not to circumvent a hack. So on a global scale, where do we stand? And really, in relation, where does South Africa stand when it comes to regulation and disclosure that would speak to transparency?
So Concerning South Africa, and now this is also from my experience with clients concerning ransomware, we do not necessarily disclose how the transaction went about in aiding the company to recoup itself. Many a times, concerning ransomware, funds are paid, and other times they're not, where then companies are then affected dramatically in revenue because, it disrupts operations, they lose revenue, they lose data and their reputation. So it is a major thing, but what companies need to do as well is they need to constantly educate their staff, because 90% of cyber attacks occur because of human error. So what needs to happen is we need to continue with this conversation, not just only in Cyber Awareness Month, but throughout, and constantly train people and educate people so that they understand what it means and understand where they might fall vulnerable to these scams.
Thank you so much for your insights. That is OAO Investments Director there, Zamokuhle Aja-Okorie, talking to us about all matters cybersecurity related as we mark Cybersecurity Awareness Month.